it looked like a dog, you know. They call it like the dog man or something. I mean, this thing was built. I mean, this thing was rugged. I mean, it's something I wouldn't want to tangle with it, you know.
One night, I'm sitting there and I had a dead body in my bed.
Yes, that's when I started hearing the doors opening and closing and then walking through the house.
People who would have, like, they'd be overcome by something and, like, start yelling at people for no reason. We're like, what's wrong? They're like, I have no idea.
Welcome back to Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. I am your host, John Methencamp. On the show tonight, we have Iabou Windimere. She is a actress, model, rocket scientist. If you've ever seen Buckaroo Banzai, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. She's like the female version of him. I think she does karate, all kinds of things. But Ia, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Hi, well, like you said, I'm an independent film actress. I've been doing that for, feels like, I don't know, 15 or more years now. Probably more than 15 years. Also, like you said, I've done some modeling. I was kind of crazy as a model. I did things like once I broke my foot and I still walked a runway show with a broken foot. That was my claim to fame with that. Yeah, I don't just do the acting though. I also like to produce and direct. I've done crazy things. Like I once built a entire Egyptian tomb set in my basement. Um, and I like to do just crazy stuff like that. None of the stuff I work on like fits in, it's like I like to make my own genres, crazy stuff like that. Love writing, have some books I'm working on that I'm writing. Also an engineer. I've been in a lot of horror movies. Horror is really big in this area, so I have a lot of fun with that. I've died in a million different ways. I've been the opener for a lot of independent horror films. Actually, I just found out about a role that I'm gonna have that I can't talk about, but
that was rude. They're
sorry.
teasing me like that.
I just found out yesterday, and I don't think I can talk about it yet. I don't know, but I get to die in a sequel to a movie that's kind of well known around here, so I'm excited about that.
Okay. Yeah, I do notice that in everything that I've ever watched, I think you die in everything except for Smart House.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's right.
At least of what I've watched, everything I've ever watched you in, you die. So.
That's funny. Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's great. I've died a million different ways.
Yeah, and I didn't know about Smart House, and I was just scrolling through Tubi one day, and
oh, really?
Yeah, and it come up, and I was like, "Hey, I know her. Let's watch this." So, and I was like, "Cool, she didn't die like in the first 5 minutes," because a lot of times it's like in the first 5 minutes.
I don't know if that ever dawned on me. I didn't die. Because even in my own films, I've even killed myself off. So that's funny. Wow, that is weird. That might be the only like kind of horror movie that I haven't died.
No, you didn't die in the girl in the crawl space either.
Oh, that's true. Because I was a reporter. I think in that. Yeah, that's right. Sometimes the movies all like merge together.
Well, I noticed that you're in a lot of movies with the same people too. A lot of
yes, yeah, we have like this really tight community around here.
Yeah,
so
I know that.
It's sad. A lot of them have kind of stepped away from filmmaking and stuff, but I'm still going strong. So I have some good relationships with a lot of the writers too, which kind of helps. So it's good to always remind them, hey, I'm here, I'm still here, I haven't given up anything. And that honestly, that's the way it is with the big movies. It's why people like Christopher Nolan use the same actors and everything. I can tell you as a director, and I cast for a lot of my stuff, like you have actors like you can put them in anything, you'll just keep working with them because they'll do anything. They'll take the abuse. I once made my husband crawl down into a hole that everybody had peed in, and I never told him that. That was before we started dating. So, you're good actors. They'll do anything without asking.
Is that divorce material after he finds out?
He brings it up all the time.
Oh, so he knows about it now.
Yeah, we were he was kind of annoying at that point in time. So it was my way to. Directors have little ways that they'll take things out on you, and getting you to crawl down in the hole that everybody had peed in before is one of those things. Fight too. Yeah, I had once where there was an actor. He wasn't quite getting the scene right, and he wanted a glass of water, and I kept telling him no, because I wanted him to get angry in the scene, and he kept on asking for the water. I was like, no, suck it up. And I'm never like that, so he should have known something was up, but it got him so mad, and then I got the performance out of my need, and I was like, you can have all the water you want. And I told him later what I did. He's like, oh my gosh. He's like, I was so pissed at you. I was like, I know, that's what I wanted.
But that's good. That's called method acting, isn't it? I'm not an actor, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was your first role?
Oh my gosh. It was, what was the name of that movie?
You died in it, I know that.
Oh no, so
or were you a dead body?
I didn't. It was about a video store. I feel so bad. I can't remember the name of it. The first movie I was in was actually, it was in a video store. It was about a video store in down in Kentucky. Oh my gosh, it's killing me that I can't remember the name of it. I feel really bad.
That's right. I put you on the spot.
Like, I hope Richard doesn't watch this. No. But I remember I had this I want to say god awful line, but I think it'll haunt me till the day I die. It was like I'm returning in a video, and he asked me what I thought of it. I was like, I thought that cheese symbolized the curdling of man's virtue over the last few centuries, and it was like the hardest line in the world to get out. But now it's like sometimes I'm falling asleep, and that line goes through my head. So straight to video. I think that's what the name was.
Straight to video. I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah.
How many movies have you been in?
A lot. I've been in a lot. Whenever I have a day where I feel down, I just look at my IMDb to remind myself I've done stuff. It's good to have it there. I've been enough that I can proudly say I forget the names of things and what roles I played, and I'll even forget what happened in movies I was in. I feel really bad about that sometimes, but it does kind of it all runs into each other. I mean, you get all those characters stay with you too, so you'll do things. You'll go to get a glass of water in the kitchen, you'll do something, and you'll be like, that's what so and so would do, and that's one of the characters you played 10 years ago. It's really wild, but a lot of them, I don't know, maybe 60 or 70 or something. I mean, there's a lot that's not even on IMDb. That's some of the small it's just small festival movies and stuff like that. Sometimes those people are really old school and they don't even put their movies on IMDb. So sometimes I forget about those in the count. And I've done some weird stuff too. So, I've eaten gummy candy for money, stuff like that. So
wait, what?
Yes, I ate candy for money once. So it was for a thing called Candy Girl, and it's just all these videos of me eating food. I can't believe I said that, but yeah, it's just.
Is this on OnlyFans or something?
No, it was just on straight. It actually was on Twitter of all places, but yeah, it's one of the highest paid things I've ever done.
Just eating candy.
Eating candy, yeah. And some of the things I was really proud of, I came up with the ideas. For one of them, I was dressed like a cop, like a really sexy cop, and I was eating donuts. I came up with that one.
And all these times I was eating for free.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. People are really into watching women eat food. So.
Oh, that's the problem. It's I wouldn't get the same audience that you do.
Yeah, and so this was before OnlyFans even existed. Actually, it was way before that. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Learn
I've
something new today.
done a little bit of everything, you know?
Yeah. I did see the one short films that you did, something about rolling the dice, or
Which die is it?
which die is it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I just actually randomly talked to the creator of that one the other day. He was texting me that I looked like someone in a comic book.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. And they were like
that
7 minutes long or something like that. And there was like a whole series of them.
Yeah, those were so much fun to do. I love those. Yeah, the one guy, Nathan, he created it. He's kind of the main guy in it. Um, he's nothing like the character that he plays in that either. It's so cool. He plays like this little timid kind of guy, and he's not. Like, um,
Well, that's
but
a good actor then.
exactly, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that one was a lot of fun. I love that. My husband actually played a woman who they reveal is actually a man in that one, or vice versa. I can't remember which direction. My husband wears a dress in it at one point. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
And that's another thing. I've never met your husband. So I was scrolling through Tubi. I love Tubi. That's my
Yes.
go-to because I love B movies. I love the independent movies and stuff like that. And I'm scrolling through and I see Joe Kidd and I'm like, okay, I'll watch this one too. You know, so maybe Ia will show up. We never know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's probably like only a handful of movies that one of us is in and the other isn't. Because he was even in Smart House.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I've watched that one a couple times actually. I watched it
Yeah.
once by myself and then my wife and I watched it together. So it was a good
Oh,
one.
cool. Yeah, that one was neat. I feel like it like leads on the idea of a sequel.
Yeah,
So
there definitely could be because you survived.
yeah. Right, yeah. For once I survived. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be nice. I thought it was really cool. It's just I love the kind of nostalgia in it with the kind of old school hacker characters and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and then, with all the AI stuff that's going on now, it's like very relevant right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean
Yeah.
that's one where I would even be willing to like produce it, like to get the sequel up and running, because that one was a fully funded movie. And it went straight to distribution. It wasn't one of those situations where they had to beg for distribution. We made it knowing that it was going to just get distributed, and that's kind of cool. I think about like, some of the first things I did. I was like, no one will probably ever see this. Hopefully, there was oh my God, I just remembered there was a pizza movie I was in that was really bad, but I thought about it like that, and then one day someone found it on the internet, and I was like, oh my God.
Now I
But
gotta find a pizza movie.
yeah. 30 minutes or less. That was the name of that one.
30 minutes. I'm writing it down. I'm gonna try to find it.
I don't even know how to find that one. So if you do find it, send me the link because it's
I
always
will.
fun to have
I
those.
absolutely
Yeah.
will. But, we're friends on Facebook, and I haven't even brought this up. We at one point worked together, or at the
Yeah.
same place. We never really worked together,
Right. Right.
but we were employed by the same employer. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
And well, I was employed. I don't know how much work I did. Probably as little as possible.
Well, as many meetings as I have, I feel like I'm not able to get much work done. It's nuts.
Well, I that's what I was going to bring up, because we are friends on Facebook, and you are busy all the time. Like I see all the stuff that you post. It's like, when do you sleep?
That's a good question. I always have to be moving and doing stuff, because I actually have narcolepsy. So I find that if I'm always engaging myself in stuff, then I don't even have to take medication for it to manage it anymore. So that's helps, and that's one of the main reasons I do. I've seen so many people just have things that held them back, and as soon as you like let it take you down and bring you down, it'll just continue to. So, and I don't know if there's a point where it will get, when I'm sure when I'm in my 60s and 70s, I'll have to slow down because of it. But I want to make the best of the time I have, until that happens. So that's kind of how I look at it. Just make the
Well,
most of it.
that's it looks like that's what you're doing because, like I said, one minute you're freaking climbing a rope or dancing or making a movie or you were doing. I remember one time you were on live doing some kind of scented thing. Like I don't know if you're doing candles or perfumes or what were you making? It was something with
I don't
air
know. It might have
fragrances.
been. I was making perfume, and I still actually have all that perfume. I haven't totally abandoned that. Right now, it's what do you call it when you let something sit and it's aging or
Fermenting.
yeah, it's been aging for a while, but I actually thought about that recently. I might bring those back. I have a very weird line of fragrances, and I got all engineering about it and like made like the formulas for each one and stuff.
That's what you were
Funny.
doing on the live the one night, because we were actually at a drive-in movie theater, and we're in between movies, and I pull it up. I'm like, oh, he is online, and you were like
funny.
writing down all these formulas and stuff, like 2 drops of this, and
Yes, that's right. That's hilarious. I forgot about that. Yeah. It's weird. I haven't done a whole lot of live stream in a while. I don't know. I guess there were some difficulties with live streams on Facebook and like how they shared them and everything. So I kind of went away from it a little bit. But I don't know. It's weird. Social media changes like every month, and you have to totally do new things, new monkey acts to to be able to get in people's scrolls, So,
I get it. I do most of my stuff on TikTok, and what works one week doesn't work the next.
Oh
You
my
just
gosh.
gotta.
Yeah, and when you don't try, that's when you get all the views.
Right. Like I had a video I made a couple weeks ago, and I'm trying to sell this shirt. It says cougar bait on it. And all I did was, I made this video because they sent me a free sample, and you got to make a video but I wanted the shirt. I'm like, okay, I make this silly, like 30-second video, and that thing gets like 8,000 views. I'm like,
yeah.
Well, the ones that I actually worked on get like 300. It's like, come on, I got 11,000 followers on TikTok. There's got to be more than 100 people watching my videos.
I know. It's a pain. Yeah. I know. I make money off of Facebook, so I feel like I always gotta have to post in there too to keep that up. So, but it's enough that I tell the government about what I make, but not as much as I'd like it to be.
Well, you're obviously not a podcaster because there's no money in podcasting. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I know there's not. Yeah. Yeah.
But
it's hard.
You were doing Villainy Unsearchable, which was a like faux podcast, I guess you want to call it. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
like
would you consider that?
Scripted podcast is what I call it. So, it's kind of like a scripted mockumentary crime drama, I guess, is what I would call it. Like I said before, I make up my own genres, basically. But there's a lot of filming I did for that I haven't released yet, and I was kind of in the middle of an episode when a bunch of stuff like happened in my life, so I've been trying to get back to that. And I made an Egyptian tomb movie in the middle too, just to get a break to do some other stuff. So I also moved around like my film room in my house and stuff. So I had to like take everything down, all the sets and backdrops I use, and I need to like put them all back up. But
was Smart House your house?
Yes. And in fact, here's the funny thing: in a lot of Henrik Kudo's movies, actually, there are pieces of my house scattered throughout all of them. Like the Boggy Creek You've watched that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that has also, my dining room is in that for most of that. I think the police headquarters is my dining room, if I remember right.
Really?
Yeah.
So wait, that wasn't filmed in Arkansas?
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah,
mean,
there's a shot they keep showing where there's like two, it's like a corner of a room and there's two paintings or something in the background, if I remember
yeah.
right. Yeah, and that's my dining room. It's a corner of my dining room. My house, yeah, I bought the house because it has like so much different personality in it. Like there's so much. Like we basically buy a new couch every 2 years just so we can film new stuff. Like new
And then it
couch
looks like a
curtains.
whole new set just because we got a
It
new couch.
does, yeah. Yeah, it's movie magic. So yeah, it's Smart House though. That was like all my house. We filmed it in 2 days. All of it in 2 days. It was ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah, it was so exhausting, like just so mentally exhausting. And I was actually still recovering from long COVID that there was a point where we had been going for hours and hours and hours and I was like, I'm tired. We were doing a phone call scene where I was in the bedroom and I'm like, just read me my line. I will give a beat and then I will say it with full acting. It was like, because I need a break. And if we don't have time to take a break, this is how we're going to have to do it. So they did that, and I watch it and I don't even remember that that's where I had the exhaustion breakdown. But we got through it. I did the whole scene like that. And then all of a sudden my brain came back online. I got my second win. We could keep going. But that was a lot of fun. It was pretty cool. It was hard to do that movie because of the talking really low, and the director would turn the volume down, and then I would forget that he turned the volume way down. I'd say something like in between takes, like normal level. He'd be like, "Ah!" with the headphones.
Yeah. So, so horror is your favorite genre of movie to make, or?
It's so funny because I got into film to do sci-fi originally, and I've done maybe one sci-fi short, maybe two sci-fi shorts. I got into comedy a little bit, and then I've kind of like fallen into the whole horror scene, I would say. And I'm actually, a lot of the movies that I've written that are getting ready to make, they're all more of a horror theme. So I'm kind of like open.
That's why I see a lot of your movies, because that's all I watch is horror movies.
Yeah. So a lot of the ones I act in are mostly horror because it's the really big scene around here is the horror scene.
Well, Ohio is a spooky place. Like there's a lot of weird stuff that happens in Ohio.
It is. I've seen so much weird stuff just as I've lived here that creeped the hell out of me.
Well, why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Okay.
Because that's what people are coming to my show to hear is paranormal encounters.
Okay. I got two really good stories for you if you want to hear them.
Absolutely.
All right. So there was this house I was actually filming in down in Cincinnati. I filmed a lot of stuff in that house, and it was kind of a creepy house, and I'd heard a lot of weird stories about it. But so do you know the story Uncle Tom? I think it's Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the house that movie was, or that book was written about.
It's in Cincinnati?
Yeah, it's in Cincinnati.
I thought that took place in like Louisiana.
So I guess I don't know all the stuff, but I know it's got like a historic plaque there about it. But it's up on a hill. And
I just want to thank everyone who's reached out to me to find out how they can support the show. While the podcast is free to consume, producing the show is not. If you're interested in helping, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can follow me on TikTok and become a subscriber. By subscribing for $3.99, you get to watch all the episodes before everyone else and a shout out during an episode and anytime you join the line. You can also make a donation over at Buy Me a Coffee. Links to all this will be in the description. But the easiest way to support is by sharing, liking, and commenting on every episode. That'll help the algorithm push my show out to others. Now back to the show.
Cincinnati, and it's like the tallest hill in Cincinnati. It was part of the Underground Railroad. There are, in the basement of this place, there are tunnels that are cut off. to all of the parts of the Underground Railroad that it was part of. And yeah, I guess so. There's a bookcase that is talked about in the book, about with slaves being able to hide behind it, and that bookcase is bolted to the wall, like in the house. Like no one can move the bookcase. It's really weird. The house is super creepy to begin with. It's got all this history behind it. There's hiding places in the attic, which I once got stuck in the attic. We were filming something and we found this couch in the attic. We're like, ooh, let's use this. Went to move it out of the hole and we got stuck up in the attic, and it was the creepiest experience ever. I was just like, once we got the couch out of the attic, we were just like, I think we're done for the day. Like I'm super creeped out. But one of the last times I filmed in that house, it was probably like 2 a.m, and I had my back to most of the house. We were in this little room, and totally dark behind me. All the lights were turned off just to get the lighting right. And I'm talking, I'm giving this spiel, and I hear someone walk down the stairs. Oh my gosh, I'm getting goosebumps just telling you the story because it brings everything back. I'm hearing someone walk down the stairs. And I was like, and then as I'm talking and giving this like little monologue thing, like it hits me. Everyone here is in the room in front of me. There's no one. And then I start hearing this old timey music playing. And I had heard this music before, and there's always been rumors about the music, but I heard it at the same time. I heard the footsteps walking down. I'm getting goosebumps again, man, talking about this. Talking down this really big staircase. And my eyes, like I do have a video of it, like my eyes just get big and my whole face is like this. And the guy behind the camera was like, "You heard that too?"
So other people heard it.
Other
That's
people
good,
heard
actually.
it. Yeah, other people heard it. And you can't hear the music on the video, but you just heard like the dunk dunk. You can actually hear it on it, but like from where I was standing, like yeah, it sounded like someone walking down the stairs. There's no one else in the building. It was 2 a.m. And the history of the building just made the whole situation worse with everything that was in that building, all the creepy spaces that they were hiding slaves, and all the tunnels that were filled in. The tunnels in the basement are super creepy, but I filmed a lot of stuff in that building.
So that
yeah.
leads me to a question. Since I don't make movies, I tried one time, and apparently you got to have more than just a good idea and some PBR, because apparently you need a script, you need decent quality cameras. We didn't have any of that, but anyway, when you're making movies like that one where you had some creepy stuff happen, do you ever find EVPs?
I actually forgot about this. I guess I have more than 2 stories. So there's a movie I've got on my YouTube channel called Psycho Killer. It was a movie that myself and my friend Randy we made. It took about, from the times I knew him, it took us 2 years to make it, and he had been working on it, I want to say about a year before that, before I came in. And I played 2 different roles on there because I've got like a little short black wig for one role, and then I'm blonde in another scene. We filmed that movie in, I don't know if you know this. Do you know that in Cincinnati there were a lot of tuberculosis hospitals?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we actually filmed, there's one tuberculosis hospital that still stands. It's part of a park. I think it's called Dunham Park, if I remember right. And they kept all of the tunnels underneath it. And you're probably thinking, what would they need tunnels for with a hospital?
To get rid of the bodies.
So, yep. To take them to the stack where they burned the bodies. And the stack was still there. I filmed some stuff in that before. That wasn't, nothing really creepy happened there. What happened creepy was in the actual tunnels. So there were still beds down in the tunnel. There were wheelchairs in the tunnel. There's signs. And if you watch Psycho Killer, all the signs on the wall were the original signs from when it was a hospital. And we filmed the whole movie down there. Freaky stuff happened. We picked up like little kids laughing on it. We kept getting like creepy stuff happening in the lighting. It was like this one part where you see like a cross on the wall. It was really weird. And there was like no lighting that was making that happen. We could not figure out why that was happening.
And you can see all this if I go watch this movie, I can see all this stuff.
Yeah. There's some. It might be hard to hear some of the audio stuff, and I'd have to ask Randy where a lot of the stuff is, because man, all these years later, I've forgotten. It's creepy. Like sometimes when I watch it, I'll be like, oh yeah, there's that thing, there's that other thing. But yeah, there were a lot of weird things that we had picked up when we were doing that movie. So it's a pretty good movie. All the special effects in it are awesome too. He has his own recipe for blood and guts. So it makes it really cool. But yeah, there was so many weird things. Like people would flip out when we made that movie. Like there's people who would have like, they'd be overcome by something and like start yelling at people, no reason. We're like, what's wrong? They're like, I have no idea. Like just
so it's like ghost adventures in real life.
Yeah, there were unhappy things in that tunnel before we got there.
Wow.
So
well, there's a lot of tunnels in Cincinnati. You know, they have a whole subway system that just never was used.
Oh my gosh, I would love to get into those tunnels.
Right.
Everyone would.
Yeah. So you said you had another one then too.
I do have another story. Yeah. So my husband's brother died a few years ago, and I was actually on a business trip, and I think it was on the business trip when he passed. I can't remember if it was right before I left or whatnot, but I get a call from my husband, and he's like, the weirdest thing happened to me. And I'm like about to go to sleep in a totally different town, in a room by myself, okay? And he's telling me this. He's like, I swear, like I heard someone, I was talking on the phone with my mom, and I felt really weird, and I got up and I swear someone's at the door, and I went to the door, no one was there. I was like, you're hearing things. A lot's happened. You're under a lot of stress. You're sad. Don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it. I'm sure it's fine. And so he's like, all right, well, I got to get up early in the mornings. He's like, like, don't text me, because he's a radio technologist or X-ray technologist technician, sorry, at a hospital. So sometimes he works weird hours, So I was like, all right, I don't want to wake him up or anything. I just let him sleep. And I got thinking, I'm sitting in this hotel room all by myself in a weird town. I'm like, we have cameras. Why don't we just look at the cameras? I'm like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, it's not like Joe to make claims like this. Joe is the one who would tell you, it was probably something else. I bring up the video, I'm watching it, and I see him talking to his mom on the couch. And then he gets up. No, you can hear the knock clear as day. You hear a knock, like 2 knocks on the door. You hear wood. You hear knock on wood, clear as day. And then I see him walk to the door and open the door, and there's no one there, and he looks so confused. And he sits back down. His brother had just died. Like, I got goosebumps again talking about this, man.
Wow.
And here I am again in a hotel room by myself in another town, and I've just watched this video that is clearly proof of his dead brother visiting him. I mean, what else would it be? What else would make that sound? There's nothing. Like, we've got a storm door that latch is closed, so nothing could be hitting the door at all.
Oh, so it knocked on the inside door.
It knocked
on
the inside door, yes.
Oh,
that was the super creepy part about it. Nothing could hit that door because of the storm door. And it wouldn't be the storm door because I also looked for any shadows to see, because if the storm door opens, you'll see a shadow across the curtain on the door. Nothing. So that didn't move. There was no way anything could have knocked on that door. To this day, I'm like, it was your brother. It had to be. There's no way. Like, and like we talk about it all the time. Like, and Joe, who usually doesn't believe in that kind of stuff is without a doubt, it was my brother, you know. That's what he says. But it was, if I didn't, even with the other things with watching or making movies, if I didn't believe in ghosts then, I sure did after that. That was
Right,
sealed the
right.
deal. Whew, yeah.
Wow, and I don't know, like now you have that video with that proves it, and then you have the psycho killer thing with EVPs and weird lights and everything else on there. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of proof that people go to these haunted places to try to find, and you just got it by accident.
Yeah, it's nuts. But when you like experience it, like you feel like your brain is telling you something's different, something's off, it's not what we're used to. You just get that feeling of uneasiness. Like
So before these experiences, what were your thoughts on the paranormal?
Well, to be honest, most of my thoughts were based off of things that happened to me as a kid. Like my mom claims when I was a kid that like my grandpa came and talked to me. I'd never met him. Well, I think it was like a few months old when he died, but like I'd be a year old and I'd tell my mom things. And my grandpa said when he was blah, blah, blah. My mom's like, how do you know that? So I knew I was a weird kid. I saw weird things. I'd tell my mom a bunch of kids died in a yellow house, and she always tells that story. And she'd be like, what are you talking about? And then like 2 days later in the news, a yellow house burned down and some kids burned alive or something. And so I've always, especially when I was younger, I experienced weird things like that. But like my husband jokingly calls me the Reaper because people come and talk to me right before they die. Like
Now you tell me.
Like literally people will come to me and then I'll turn around and they'll die a week later, and people I haven't heard from in a long time.
I better check my insurance.
So that was my personal experience with that kind of stuff. So, I hadn't had a whole lot of like seeing stuff until, the things with the movies and stuff like that. It'd been
So do
been a
you
long
think
time.
that maybe by doing these horror movies, maybe that opened you up to something?
Well, we film in a lot of creepy places. So, it's places with, weird histories and things like that. So I definitely think that opens up to it. And everyone's got a different opinion on what spirits are and stuff like that. Whether they're actual the people's spirits or demons that possess people's. Like some people think that's what the spirit is the demon that possessed that person before. So I think it's hard to believe that we're all made of energy and not believe that energy can't hang around after we're gone, right?
Well, energy can't be created or destroyed. So we've got to go somewhere.
Exactly. So there's proof that people lose a limb, that they still have like electromagnetic charges where that limb used to be and stuff like that. So science to me proves that it is. So I think you gotta kind of believe to it to some extent, right?
Right. Well, I believe it because I'm a Christian. So, and there's
Same
that.
Here. Yeah.
And I've got an episode that's going to come out before this one, and we actually talk about paranormal in the Bible. So I brought in 2 pastors and another podcaster, and so that'll be coming out before this one. That's podcast time travel. But yeah, after today, but before today.
It took me a second to get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear that. That sounds like a really cool episode.
I think it's going to do well. It was weird when I started listening to podcasts after I had my first paranormal encounter. And once I I thought, these people that are doing all this paranormal stuff, they probably aren't Christians, Or there's probably a lot of atheists that do it. I started
Right.
listening to these podcasts, and I'm like, 90% of these people that are doing what I do, they're Christians and
Interesting.
unabashed Christians. I mean, they don't care.
Yeah.
They're telling you, because I think once you realize that there is a spirit realm, that you have to look at what caused that spirit realm, because like we were talking, energy can't be destroyed.
Right.
So where's it go? And there's a whole book that tells you where it goes. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
we got off topic, but that's okay, because that's what I do on my show.
Right.
So you have, well, you can't talk about this possible movie, but you have anything that you can talk about that's upcoming?
So, like I said, I am kind of going back to Villainy Unsearchable. I'm thinking about trying to get it on Tubi, because I realized when I didn't have a episode for a little while, people kept asking me about it, and I was like, oh, so I guess I had an audience. I don't want to lose that. But that and oops, sorry, just lost my headphone. I had this movie, Sula Lee, that I made. And so that one, I was hoping to put it into some festivals. There's some changes I wanted to make to it. I don't know if you had a chance to watch that one at all, but it's kind of like filmed in this film noir kind of sense, and it's about an Egyptian tomb.
What's it called?
Sula Lee, which is French for under the bed.
Okay.
It's
I'll have to look that up.
SOUSLELIT.
Okay.
So we were actually
that
worried. I was painting all of these Egyptian hieroglyphics on all the walls for the sets, and I was like, guys, if I summon a demon, I'm sorry. Like,
you're gonna have a
so,
mummy running around your house instead of ghosts?
yeah. I remember people said there was some weird stuff that happened with that movie, that it really started to freak some of the people out. Some of the, like, I guess they felt like really weird in the basement with stuff, and I blamed it on all the hieroglyphics, because I bought all these hieroglyphic books and painted stuff on the walls, so they were like some legit stuff. So I tried to
You
change some of it.
basically copied the Book of the Dead on your walls, or what?
Right. I was like legitimately concerned about it, because I felt like I've had enough stuff happen in my life that I know that stuff's real, you know.
Yeah. So where can we find you?
So on YouTube, I'm under fRanked Films. You can also go to frankedup.com. That's my movie site where I put a lot of stuff. But I'm also, you can look for me on my name on most social media, Iabou Windimere. Just look at me there. Look at me under Windimere on just about anything. Same for Franked Up Films. So I own frankedup.com. So I'm the only Franked Up.
and all these links will go in the description, but a lot of people like to hear it from you, you know.
Right. And my villainy podcast is it's at podcast.villainy.legacy.com. Is where that one's at.
Okay.
So yeah, lots of fun stuff. And if you forget any of it, it's all on my IMDB, so you can kind of search for it from there.
Well, Ia, I really do appreciate you coming on tonight.
Yeah, anytime.
And maybe after you actually can talk about this next role that you're in, maybe stop in the live on TikTok and you can talk about it there.
Okay, that'd be cool. Yeah.
All right.
I love watching your videos.
Well, thank you. Glad somebody is. So one of the 300. So I really do appreciate you coming on tonight, and we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, good to see you. Have a great time.
Bye. And that's it for tonight. I'd like to thank Ia for coming in. And if you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, you can email me at mythsandmullets@gmail.com. Have a good night, everyone.
Cause girl, we're rolling like a freight train. Cause what you